what you promise, what you say, you deliver. Because remember, what you say has a lasting effect.
Yeah.
The only way for us to truly express ourselves in terms of our exact thinking is through our words. So when
Hmm.
we're expressing ourselves or making a promise, are you keeping to it? Is it important for you, important enough for you to keep that promise? And
Right.
conscious leaders are the leaders where people follow, because you're role modeling everything that they aspire to be. So how
Yeah.
do we create a person that is a role model, essentially, in leadership? So authenticity, a broken a word is an unfulfilled agreement. So, I mean, if you, for example, sign a contract, a lease contract,
Hmm.
a contract of any kind, and you break it, you will be liable for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Our words are that contract. And
Yeah.
if it matters to you, you will say the right things. So authenticity is being true to your word, which means that first of all, you need to be true to yourself. And
Yeah.
are you true to yourself? And a lot of us live, I've noticed, especially lately, a lot of leaders are living with this this feeling that they can't cope. Like, how are they supposed to be a role model when they've been so negatively affected by COVID? So
Mm.
even in a very difficult situation, an authentic leader will say and be vulnerable and actually be able to go to their peers, or to appeal to somebody like a coach and say, help
Yeah.
me through this. Because they feel that it would make them look bad to go back and to ask one of the team members. But it's
Right.
okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay for team members to see, because then you're being authentic. The leaders that are constantly in control and you never hear or see of any issues, even in difficult situations, people then start losing a little trust, because they're going, are they superhuman? What are they hiding from us?
Yeah.
So it's really good to be authentic. So to be true to your word. If you are not, for example, feeling great that day,
Yeah.
why say you feel great? And people stop asking questions. Interesting. If you say, hi, hello, how are you? And people start saying, no, I'm not okay. People
Hmm.
stop asking
Yeah.
you how you are, because
Yeah.
people don't want to know about problems, and conscious leaders are aware of that. So what they do is they need a peer, or they need a coach, or somebody that they can leverage, or somebody to bounce ideas off, and somebody to talk to. But
Yeah.
my point is that an authentic leader is not 100% okay 100% of the time, and people notice those things. So authentic leader is about sticking to your word, but being truthful in your own self about it. If you cannot make a meeting, don't promise that you'll
Hmm.
make it, and don't reach
Yeah.
out, because that's not authentic. So I hope
Right.
that it gives you some insight and explanation as to the authenticity of
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah. That's great. Like, not really thought about that way. So, in terms of like a leadership, do you work with the like only people like business owners in South Africa or worldwide?
No, no. So look, most of my clientele has been in South Africa, but
Hmm.
I have now expanded my business to worldwide. In fact, I prefer an international audience. And the
Hmm.
reason I prefer that is because, having lived in South Africa, we have our own unique experiences and our own unique struggles and our own unique challenges that we've had to get
Yeah.
over. And it's really interesting, because if you look at the history of our country, it's all about transformation.
Yeah.
It's all about, integrity. It's about taking our power back. It's about, leading in the right way. So, it was a culture for me to
Mhm.
transform, because we didn't have a choice on a national level. So transformation is something that I've been through at extensive lengths. And
Right.
I'm able to help people get through those particular issues in transformation. So, a lot of people say, what is transformation? Transformation is taking your situation where you are and moving it to a position of desire, and
Yeah.
changing and transforming and evolving in that process to reach that particular desire. And we all know that change is never easy. Okay. However, it's the only constant. So we really need to deal with change, and we need to cope with change, and we need to role model how to deal with
Yeah.
change. So I take there's one of the first things I always look at is, how do you deal with change? Because if you can't deal with change, you cannot be integrous.
Yeah.
Okay. And you cannot lead with authenticity, because you're going to be confused and you're going to be bewildered. So what do we do in order to get you from plan A to plan B to plan Z sometimes? So a lot of my clientele really appreciate the passion that I come with, the experience I've come with through change and transformation on a personal level.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with all my studies and and my experience, I managed to encapsulate this into a coaching program, and it really makes it makes a difference in people's lives. So I have people in the US, I have people in the UK, I have people in Singapore. I've gone international, and it's been amazing to work on an international platform.
So in order to working with like international client and local client, did you see the difference on them leaders? Or what kind of
Yes,
difference
I
you
do.
can see? Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I do see a difference. So South Africa tends to always latch on, and there are many, many things that we have that is advanced, but a lot
Yeah.
of the concepts around change is slightly different because of perspective. So I do see a difference. South Africans are highly passionate leaders, but there's also a tendency towards a leadership style that doesn't really suit them because they've never really been taught how to do it.
Yeah.
And I find that the overseas clientele, when I say overseas, international clientele, are slightly more advanced because there's some schools, for example, that include leadership as part of their programs
Right.
in high schools. So there's a little bit the outcome and the quality of leadership that comes out is really, really interesting. And I really like that. So it's a mix. I mean, I have 50% South African clientele and a 50% or 52% actually more international clientele.
Yeah, that's interesting. So going to the topic again, like the leadership development. So why is it important for developing a leaders? And obviously, it's the current situation and everything's going on. Do you think is the best time to develop a leaders?
I think now is better than ever. And the reason is because our world has changed. Everything that we do is different, from
Yeah.
the working environment to how we feel about ourselves. We know, for example, many people have been impacted either by COVID itself or the impact of COVID
Yeah.
in some form, shape, or manner. So there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of insecurity. People are not feeling safe.
Yeah.
So it is really an important time now where we can help people feel safe about who they are, deal with their particular issues, their challenges, and really move them to a place of improvement.
Yeah.
However, okay, that's not where we leave it. We always say, right, now that you've sorted yourself out, and I use a psychometric assessment in my coaching as well.